What's up guys, today we're going to be going over what is the best DPS super in the game right now, and with Void 3.0, Mobius Quiver on Night Stalker got a huge buff to its damage, so that's going to be the main focus of this video, testing it with Orpheus Rig, then also testing it with Star Eater Scales to see which exotic is the best for its super DPS, along with comparing it to the other top options in the game to see what is the best damage super right now. So there's going to be a lot of testing going on in this video, along with answering a few questions that you probably didn't even think you had. And before we get into all that good stuff, G Fuel is 30% off right now. You can go ahead and use my code ERROR at checkout. If you click the link in the comments and description, it'll take you over to the store and automatically apply that discount code. And they have all kinds of really great flavors, so find something that sounds good to you and try it out. Today I'm drinking the Shiny Splash flavor, which is really good. So let's go to begin looking at how the tether works on Carl. One thing to note is we're going to be doing way too much damage for Carl in this video, so we're going to move over to a strike boss for testing. But another thing, if you pay close attention on the second tether, the numbers only go up by 20%, which tether is a 30% debuff, right? So what is going on there? Well, for weapons, tether is a 30% debuff, but it seems for its own damage or ability damage in general, it's only going to be a 20% debuff, and that is just the way tether works, I guess. So the first exotic of the two I want to look at is going to be Orpheus Rig, which will do two things. One, provide additional energy for each target tethered by deadfall, which we won't be using, but for Mobius Quiver, it will give it an additional shot. So looking at damage on a strike boss, normally without any exotic, we can only do 2 attacks, and they still do quite a lot of damage, as you see, chunking the boss quite a bit down to under a third just from our super alone. But now with the Orpheus Rig on, we should be able to get a third shot, which will greatly increase the damage of the super, because the second and third are going to be doing 20% more than the first. And now with all that, I'll add up the numbers here in a bit, but that's almost taken them down to like 40-35%. And now comparing that to the Star Eater scale, which will be doing a lot of stuff for us. One, we'll get our super a lot quicker because orbs will give us a bigger chunk of our super. Then once we have our super, picking up more orbs will overcharge that damage. So now once you have your super, every orb you pick up, you get 1 stack of Feast of Light, and the cap is ×8, which is going to give you the max damage for your super. So now looking at damage on the strike boss with ×8, we're back to only having 2 shots, but those 2 shots are going to do way more damage than normal, now hitting for 97,000 on the second shot. So if we add up all the numbers, Orpheus is doing 506,000 while Star Eater is doing 516,000. So Star Eater is edging out Orpheus Rig by 10,000 damage. And it's worth mentioning that you only shoot 2 tethers, which means the burst DPS is also a lot higher, and you can get back to shooting your weapons. But even though Star Eater is higher damage, they're so close that Orpheus Rig is by no means useless. So Orpheus will still be better for situations where you can't get ×7 or ×8 with Feast of Light on the Star Eater skills. So there's going to be a lot of situations where you just simply can't pick up 8 orbs heading into the boss fight. And in all those situations, you would want to be using the Orpheus Rig. But for a lot of situations, I think Star Eater skills will be much better. One, because it's more damage, and it's only 2 shots compared to 3, which means higher burst DPS. And given the fact that you'll be getting your super a lot faster in the first place by picking up the orbs, and once you have your super, it will allow you to still pick up orbs, which means you can proc things like the Devour Fragment or orb perks on your boots. So depending on the situation, one might be better than the other. I think for a lot of situations, you want to just run Star Eater skills to get your super faster. And if you can get ×8, it'll be more damage. But let's say you get to the boss and you only have ×4, ×3, I might quick swap over to the Orpheus Rigs. Also, there's more things we can do to increase our super damage. We can use a debuff, so for example, Tractor Cannon or anyone on our team using a tether, Melting Point, or anything like that. And this should increase the damage of the first shot of our tether by 30%. So looking at damage on the strike boss, the way this works is the first shot will now be 30% higher, while the second shot will go back down to the 20% of the tether debuff. So it's kind of weird how now the first shot will do more than the second or third. So if we add that up into the Orpheus and Star Eater, now we're at 551,000 and 583,000. So Star Eater skill is getting buffed quite a bit because the first shot is doing 30% more damage. And the final thing we can add in this season is going to be Devouring Depths. When we're critically wounded or under the effects of Devour, our super will do more damage. So if we look at how that works, once again, just use the Devour Fragment to proc Devour. It's going to be easier than trying to become Red Bar. And now with Star Eater ×8 and under debuff, as you see, the strike boss is just simply dead. We're hitting for very high numbers. So we add that into the Star Eater and Orpheus numbers. Orpheus is 716,000, while the Star Eater is 748,000. So That is a lot of damage instantly with just your support super, right? So we compare that to some of our supers in the game. Looking at bottom tree gunslinger with the Nighthawk, which would be the highest golden gun damage we can possibly get as long as we're under the knock him down buff with over 20 seconds. This is not with a debuff, but if we quickly add in the extra 30%, as you see, the damage should be 438,000, so quite a lot less than both of the Tether numbers. And we compare it to middle tree Arc Titan for Thunder Crash with the Falling Star exotic chest piece. This one should be the closest one to Tether if any of them have a chance. So we're going to damage on the boss with the debuff for a total of 586,000, so quite a lot less than the Tether numbers this season with Devouring Depths, but once Devouring Depths is gone, they're pretty close with Star Eater skills. And we can also try with a Nova Bomb, for example the Cataclysm, and this is going to be a lot like Deathbringer, where it's going to be very RNG depending on how many of them actually hit the boss. Even with nothing around, they can just simply miss sometimes, but under the effects of Devour and the debuff, as you see, if they all hit, it chunks pretty good. Not quite like the Tether, but in situations where it doesn't hit them and it just kind of goes randomly, it's pretty bad. So in an optimal situation, it could be hitting up to 571,000, which is kind of right in there with the Thunder Crash number, so not too bad. But overall, Tether is by far the best DPS super right now with the Star Eater skills, Devouring Depths, then also a debuff. And even once the Devouring Depths is gone, it's still gonna be right in there with the Thunder Crash numbers. So yeah, Tether is the real deal. Right now it is the king of super damage, and in future seasons it should be right in there with the best options. And overall, I've been loving playing Hunter recently. It's one of my favorite Void 3.0 subclasses, and just the fact that it has the best super on top of that just makes it really hard to argue that it's not one of the best ones in the game right now. And I think I might be talking more about this subject in a future video, so not too much more about my thoughts on that. And yeah, I think that is going to be it for the commentary. Pretty straightforward. Once again, my code AIR is 30% off for G Fuel. Definitely take advantage of that. The rest of the video will just be some straight gameplay with one of the Hunter builds I've been running a lot recently. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.
Kill them.